What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to former UFC tournament winner Vitor Belfort, also a light heavyweight champion and a legend of the game who's done it for over 20 years in our sport, helped build the sport with its exciting fights and finishes. Vitor, good to see you, my friend.
It's a joy to see you guys. I'm here driving to pick up my daughter and joining with you and thousands of fans, and we're gonna dive some good stuff. Some good stuff going on.
Yeah.
And this Friday, man, PFL Series back. The heavyweights.
Yes. That's where you started. You were knocking some heavyweights out when you started your career, and slowly you came down to light heavyweight and middleweight, but you were a multi-weight fighter back in the day.
Yes, it was an open weight. There is no division. You don't need to. You can weight whatever you want. There is no division back then. Remember?
Yeah, that's true. Scott Ferrozo was probably 300 when you fought him.
Yes, he was big. And it was so fun. It's so good to see the sport, helping building the sport, being the visionary that I was. I always knew that the sport would be that big. I wish it could be faster. But, we are in a good time right now, because I think the future of the sport of combat is when we bring MMA and boxing in one rules. Mm-hmm. I call it the BMA rules, the boxing martial arts. When we'll be able to bring these two sports in a junction and we'll be able to entertain, we'll be able to break the records of pay-per-view, because people want to see something different. But until that happens, I'm boxing. I'm having fun, because I could not box and do MMA at the same time when I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm having fun, still competing at a high level. Of course, now is in a different realm. I have to box.
So Vitor, let's concentrate on a few things that we discussed here. So you did announce that in April you're going to be boxing against Ronaldo Jacare Souza. 6 rounds, 3 minutes each. Do I got that right? And you said you wanted to introduce some new gloves. Is Game Bred Boxing going to allow that?
Yeah. So that was, I was supposed to fight Royce Jones Jr. on that rules, but they don't allow. And it's funny, because I'm always an entrepreneur, so I'm looking for, okay, how can you be successful? You need to make money. I see a lot of people spending money, and I want to help everyone be successful. So I supposed to fight Roy Jones Jr., but he denied me. He didn't want to fight me, so he chose to fight Anthony Pettis. So he's an easy fight. So it's an easy. I think Anthony Pettis is a great MMA, legend, but he cannot box. So, and he chose the easier fighter for him, and he's a lighter guy. So, and I think that was not the fight that's supposed to be. It's supposed to be me and Roy, but Roy picked his opponent. And boxing world is always being built on that revenue. You pick your fighters. MMA is different. You have to fight these guys. He's always like, that's why it's excitement. So I've been proposing, with Holyfield, with De La Hoya. I design a glove. I have these rules that will be able to grab in the clinch. And that's what I'm looking for. I wanted to fight a boxer under these rules. So I went boxing Holyfield, and I'm boxing people. Even Jake Paul, he's been running away from me for years. And I mean, and even PFL is giving pretty easy money for him. And I just think it doesn't make any sense, doing all that. At the end, we need to get a return of our money. So I want to see MMA and boxing united together. That's how you're going to break the mold. That's how you're going to be able to create something that is going to be very marketable. People are gonna buy it. People are gonna subscribe to see it, because they want to see something different. And I hope Zingano can accept my offer, and I will donate my gloves for him. Can fight on these gloves with whatever it is he wants to fight. But it's time to bring these two sports at one. And until it's happened, I'm gonna fight. And I'm glad that Jacare is not scared to fight me. So he jumped in. He's gonna fight me, and we're gonna do 6 rounds. But supposedly this fight's supposed to be me and Roy. But for the second time, Roy didn't want to fight me. And like I said, The fans deserve that. The fans want to see entertaining fights. And I think it's time for us that lives in combat sport world, we need to create something different. And I wanted to do that. And if I cannot do it, I want other people to become the carriers of that. And I think Ngannou is the guy who can do that right now as in the heavyweight division.
So I know Tyson Fury said he's fighting a little glove, so he doesn't need little gloves. Fight in this glove that the fingers not exposed. You know, it's an amazing glove that I designed, and here it is. Actually, I'm gonna show you guys what it is. The gloves. There is no excuse. Here it is. You know, you see there is no finger exposed.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So it's a boxing glove, but I can grab. So this is a 10 ounce, can go 8 ounce, you know, so that's the future. That's what we need right now. We need entertaining fights. You know, we need to bring this to sport and see who's the best guy with the hands. And I believe if Roy Jones Jr. fight me on these gloves with these rules, we'll be able to break the mold and bring a new sport where boxers and MMA guys can fight on these rules. You know, will be 50-50. So, but until it happen, I box. You know, I love to box. You guys know I brought boxing to MMA, and I'm excited, man. I'm pumped.
Would it be possible have you discussed with PFL, since Jake Paul's going to be there, that this could happen under the PFL banner, under their pay-per-view series, maybe?
Listen, as soon as I talk to you, I'm sending an email to Don Davis. I spoke to Pete, the CEO. You know, oh, we're gonna do this. We want it. I remember Pete didn't want to do anything besides the MMA, and now they bring this Jake the fake Paul, and he's just, people are just handing him money. I know he got like 7 figures just to do this marketing deal. I know the guy is a marketing genius, you know, he's a great YouTuber, but you guys know who's the real fighter, you know, and he's not a real fighter. You know, he's just talking his way there. You know, people give him money and he's smart. He's a great businessman. But, you know, now PFL have these things called the earn. You know, you go to the series, to the PFL series, you earn your way out. They're in favor of like stopping making these fights, you know, you talk your way out. They just signed the biggest stalker of all time. You know, this guy is like, people are fed up with that guy. That guy's been running away. You know, he's been running away from me for so long. Now I'm going to be there. They better have that contract to sign, because if the guy signed the contract, we fight him. I will fight him all day long with this glove, and he will not be man enough to put that glove. We know that his manager, you know, the guy Nikisa, he's being protected. He sent me text message. That guy, you know, I can take my hat for these guys. They printing money, and Don Davis give that guy a lot of money. But now Don Davis, the MMA community, want PFL to put me and Jake Paul to box at the PFL cage, and right now that is no excuse for this not to happen. And I promise you guys, this thing will not happen, because guess what? Jake Paul get his $10 million on his pocket, walking away, and guess what? Now he keep printing money and fighting whoever he wants to fight. So it's a mess. I think it's a mess. We got to get this straight. That guy has to fight me. There is no way out right now.
I would love to see it, and perhaps you'll have that moment during the Challenger Series, because you're there as a celebrity judge to see, you know, give your vote to see who might be next. Hopefully you have the opportunity for that. Now, I did want to ask you about, you know, your role on Friday night. Folks, you can watch them on Fubo TV, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, heavyweights in action. Vitor, what are you looking for when you watch these guys compete? Is it the finish? Is it a tenacity? Is it skill? Is it cardio? What are you going to be looking for before you go, that's my vote?
First of all, there is no second round. There is no third round. You know, what makes MMA fighters so successful, is go for the finish. That's why everybody that became a star in MMA community is these guys that are finishers. What makes football so exciting is just throwing the balls. People that score touchdowns. The offense is the best defense in football is the defense that play offense. They go for the attack. They go for the attack. So every time that I play on defense, I lost. Why? Because that was not who I am. So what I'm looking for and what we all the fans are looking for people that go out there to finish, either on the ground so you're looking to the finish. And I think that's what makes fighters so successful. They make a lot of money, they become successful. Those guys that go for the finish. So I'm looking not for the, if you can put a package together, the looks, the physique, it's great. But the number one thing we're looking for is PFL series, and that's why I love PFL format. You earn your way out. There is no talking, and that's why I'm very disappointed for them to sign with Jake Paul. This big talker, he doesn't fight me, being run away from me for years, and he give all the excuses. And I promise you, he's gonna wait for me to turn 50 and say, "Oh, now I'm gonna fight you." So now is the time for PFL to redeem themselves, get my contract so I can fight Jake Paul at PFL Cage. But until then, I'm so glad I'm part of PFL Series because fighters can be a multi-millionaire by the end of this year, and they can come from this PFL Series all the way up, earn the contract, and become millionaire in less than a year. That's amazing. That's an effort.
Vitor, these younger fighters, they have so many things at their disposals, right? As far as training, partners, mentors that have been through this. You didn't have very much of this when you were coming up. But do you think that maybe not having that, would your career have been a little bit different, or did you kind of have to go through the things that you did in order to be who you are today?
It's like the what ifs, I two words I don't like it. What if I don't feel like it? Write it down. What if I don't feel like it? This word doesn't exist for me, for my kids. And if I had the chance to have everything else, I'll be a monster. That's no doubt because I have to be the prototype. I had to create the things. I am literally the guy who transformed what it was MMA. I brought athleticism to UFC. I brought sport, the look, the shorts, the sponsors. How you see if you see myself, I was the standard for all these guys. How to brand yourself, how to create this brand. So, I think I did so many good things, and that's why right now I just want to be able to give back. I want to mentor fighters. I want to help these guys because when I talk about head coach, what is a head coach? A head coach, nothing it is that the guy who can put all the coaches together. So I believe I am the head coach of MMA. I can put coaches together to work together because first of all, I don't need to be on TV. I don't need to even, you hire me, I don't even need to appear. You don't even say my name. You got to pay me because what I know, what I acquired for these years, it's so valuable. But I think right now, fighters that they have that thing master. Look at Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns live in my house. I mentored that kid for many, many years. Look how successful he is. And look how successful he is, not just inside the cage, but outside of the cage. So I think it's the balance of fighters understanding that, if your personal life is good, is healthy, your professional life is going to be healthy and have longevity. So I think my theory is, I have so much knowledge and I want to help this community. I want to be able to pour down into these fighters. I discovered one of the fighters that came and earned his contract. He was one of my sparring a couple months ago. I got on the phone. I call Ray Sanford, say I got a guy for you, and guess what? The guy's just earned a contract. He's gonna fight. He just got classified to fight for the PFL to earn $1 million. And I think the kid has potential. So I'm always have my eyes open, and I can spot talent. I can build the talent. I can kind of help these guys understanding, the present, the pitfalls in the middle, and the future. So if I had that, I would have been in a totally different shape. But I mean, if I didn't have that, I could not be who I am. So I'm very happy for the experience. My failures become my losses, become my lessons. So I think that's priceless. That's you cannot earn this university by attending to Harvard. You have to earn these universities by the scars, by my losses, by my difficulties, my struggles. And I mean, now it's time for me to get back to the community. I'm looking forward to do courses, to mentor, to be able to help the amateurs, guys, the upcoming guys, how they can build a legacy. So I'm looking to put up a system where I'll be able to do a Zoom with every fighter. They will pay a very small amount, but I'll be able to kind of map the things, how to avoid the pitfalls, because I think it's more like the secret is doing the little things repeatedly. So, and I think fighters have to understand that it's a package. It's you're a businessman, you're a brand. When they don't need you anymore, you're disposable. They're gonna go for the next guy. So it's hard to become a legend on the sport, but I mean, it's possible.
Vitor, you talked about being the prototype for mixed martial arts, but you have a glove that is another prototype, right? Can you maybe, you showed us the glove, but can you maybe elaborate on what that rule set would inquire with the glove?
So just thinking about MMA is 5 minutes, boxing is 3 minutes. So let's say you put like 2 minutes. If you shorten up the rounds, you'll be able to. If you shorten up the rounds, you'll be able to have less concussion. So it's a lot of things involved, safeties and all that. So I think BMA, it's not just safer for the fighters, but also it's more entertaining for the bettings and all that. But it's just boxing, and I believe if the boxer, let's say the boxer accept spinning punches, that's something that we do, the spinning punches. We do spinning punches. Boxers, they don't do spinning punches. If they allow us to do spinning punching, we can allow. If they don't allow, we just box. But the difference is you'll be able to grab and do hand fighting. You'll be able to hand fight, have control of your opponent. The clinch will not be bored, you'll not be separating. The fight is going to be in the clinch. You'll be able to hold the neck. You'll be able to hold the wrist. So they would need to fight like a man, like they're on the street, they really fighting for their life. So you really it's almost like being in the raw of boxing. So, and we will see who is the best striker on the planet. So my belief is it's time. The time is asking for this type of rules. And I've been developing this glove for over 4 years before the pandemic. I was trying to do a fight when Mike Tyson fought. I was trying to do a fight, between these guys. But I mean, nobody wants to fight me under these gloves. And now boxing becomes big. But when we'll be able, I hope Ngannou, I want to present this glove for Ngannou, and for somehow I need to get contact with him and said, you have to fight Tyson Fury under these rules. Don't box. It's time for us to bring, he deserved it for everything that guy did in his career. He's in a position that he can be the A side. He can make smart decisions. I don't know who is his mentor, who is overseeing his career, but it's time for him to be smart, making the wise decision, and looking for not just for himself, but to build a legacy and open the Red Sea for this merge between these two sports. And I think it's gonna be massive, man, massive. And as you guys know, I'm a real promoter. I'm a real fighter. I'm a real professor. I'm a real legend. So everything I want a business to sustain. The great company is going to be sustainable. If you cannot be sustainable, you're just like this cryptocurrency that goes up and down. You got to be a dollar sign. You got to be something that is have a track, And I think I have a track. I hope these promoters can understand, open their eyes, and I'm open for business. Even if Dana White wants to do a promotion, PFL wants to do it. It's time for someone said, let me listen to Vitor Belfort because he deserves to be heard. And now it's time.
This is great. All right. Well, Vitor, first things first, Challenger Series on Friday, Fubo TV, 9 p.m. Eastern. Want to wish you good luck for the training camp leading into the Jacare fight at Gamebred Boxing. Exciting to see your name associated with all these different ideas, and hopefully the ideas that you put forward today, something like that can happen for you. I definitely want to see you versus Roy Jones at some point in time.
For us, because I'm going to need you guys. Guess what? You guys know, I remember. I remember when you guys started. I really remember because I always had so much compassion because remember, nobody would care about MMA. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember the back in the day, nobody cares. Nobody cover us. It was ridiculous. And now we in ESPN. Now we are the big thing. But you guys are the real fight. You guys are the real reporters. You guys are original guys. So what I really want, I want to help the amateurs. I have a project that I would like to present for you guys. And I would like to start this project because at the end of the day, I'm not looking just to make big money. I'm looking to give back. And the way to give back, we need to feed the future Vitor, the future's John Jones. And I think is establish a blueprint for the parents, how the parents can help the kids in their career. I'm very sad to see kids spar at the early age. They're gonna be CTE. It's so many things you can do it to avoid, becoming a stupid fighter. You gotta be a smart fighter, especially parents, because you see, I remember in living in Las Vegas, you go to the gyms and you have these guys, they want their kid to become, the next Vitor Belfort, and they put their kid to spar. So their brain's not formed yet. So that's time, So I want to be able to, one of my biggest business is this. I want to do a Zoom call with thousands of families that they pretend to become a martial artist or an MMA professional. I want to help them how they can do the right things, how they can avoid to sign with the wrong management, how they can avoid all these friends that are gonna waste their money, all this, stay away from the women, be able to become a professional, not just in training, but in personal life. Because you see all the fighters, it's sad to see Holyfield with 12 ex-wives, 9 ex-wives. I don't know how many ex-wives he has. So we need to teach, not just to become a great fighter, how they can become a great human beings, a great parent. So that's my legacy that I want to live for the sport of MMA or combat sport, whatever you want to call. I want to be able to help kids to come in a Zoom. I'll put a price very affordable, but I want to make like a whole year, a whole year. Imagine if you 12 times, it would be like once a week, 4 times a month, 4 times 12. How many times? I'm not good at math.
48.
So it would be 48 sessions. I'll be able to give these kids, tutoring, how to choose a manager. What's the difference between a manager and an agent? How to take care of nutrition, how to cut weight. I'm a master of cutting weight. I teach people how to cut weight. Now they have all these people, making millions of dollars, giving all that. So I hire top professionals. I try everything. And we know how big change happen when you do something right, especially cutting weight, because you dehydrate your brain, you can cause CTE when you go to the fight. So it's a lot of things involved, that I want to just help them making good decisions, and I think this is more than, that's called more like a mentoring head coach kind of it. I don't want to be the head coach. I don't want to be in the gyms with fighters. I want to be more like a mentor. I need to meet once a week. I don't need more than once a week. they have a lot of good coaches out there. They don't need Vitor Belfort in the mat, and it's going to be very expensive. But I mean, I want to help the community. I see the community, grow, and all these athletes making some, a lot of new talents rising up. But I feel like they can be good in everything, not just in one thing. If what I'm saying, like, is a lot of little things. It's a lot of puzzle. It has the wrestling, the boxing, the striking, the kicks. It's a lot of elements in the middle. So how to focus, where you started, or what's the odds, how I make my choice to in this camp if I'm fighting a striker, if I'm fighting. So it's a lot of things in MMA. It's very complex. Boxing is very simple. That's why I have to create a new way of boxing going to the MMA. Different angles, different moves, walking punch, it's called the phenom punch. So I have to create a lot of things from this martial arts, how they can match up, how they can work together. So that's one of my goals, to help the MMA community. And I would like to count on with you guys so we can help this community.
Of course, when you
Love
get it
that.
together, for sure, we would love to help you spread the word. I think the young athletes could definitely benefit from the wisdom of an OG like yourself, a world champion like yourself. And you brought up some very good points. We need to learn from our predecessors some of the mistakes they made, because unfortunately the sport was young and raw, and mistakes were made, but everything evolves, and now we need to create a safer sport. Good stuff, Vitor. We can definitely support you. Let us know.
It's always a joy to be with you guys, and don't miss Friday. I'm gonna be challenging Jake Paul.
Be
Jake's
watching.
a fake Paul. He better, we're gonna see if PFL just give him the check. He's gonna be walking away with this bag of money that they give him. I hope he can put his mouth where he signed, and you guys cannot miss that. And let's move that forward, because that boy, man, I'm telling you, man, that boy he's good businessman. He's pretty money easy, man, right now. Let's give him a real fight.
All right. We'll look forward to the call out. Thanks for the time as always, Vitor. Blessings to you and the family. Shout out to Davey Belfort. You'll be seeing him on a major college football field soon. I've seen him throw at the camps in Las Vegas. He's a stud, just like his dad. Thanks, Vitor. Take care.